afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in Wrenching. I am actually pretty happy right now because I get to work on project 944 because I have been waiting for that tool. Yep, one silly tool that I didn't have in my stock. I had other H6s, but it has to be an extended shaft H6. And unfortunately, with the demise of Sears, pretty much, you can't go down there and get it. Harbor Freight doesn't have them. Didn't want to hunt down a Snap-on or Cornwell truck. Could have ordered one from a more local vendor on eBay or Amazon, but then your choices are spend twice the money for something that they got from out of country, or just wait for it to come from out of country, which is what I did. Reason I had to have this tool is because the other H6s that I've got, which would be this one, won't fit, and my smaller one won't fit. And you have 5 H6 bolts down in the bottom. Now I will point out, make sure that you get this the right direction if you get one of these. I saw a fellow YouTuber snap one end of it down on the bottom of it, and he spent 3 days figuring out a way to get that taken care of, which really sucked for him. Use the other end, and it does go down, and it does actually get into the maybe, hold on. And it's not exactly easy to, because you can't really get a light down in there. There it is. Takes a 1/4-inch socket to go over the top of that. I had already loosened it up some prior to this video to make sure that I could actually get it loose. Problem with it is, and you'll see this right down here, I'm glad it was one of those. There are a total of, I believe it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 on the bottom and 6 on the top. So a total of 15 bolts that hold this cam cover on. Now, that's all the further I want to get today, is taking the cam cover off. And the reason that I only want to go that far is because once I get the cam cover off, then I'm still going to have to go down here and pull the exhaust header off before I can get the head off, and that'll be another update. I'm not going to try to do it today with the sun already starting to dip down. So anyway, let me get these out and see what's going on, and I'll show you this one down here that probably from the previous work, it was stripped out, so I had to hammer in a spline just so I could get that one loose. But we'll go ahead and start wrenching. If these are just going to come out, or if I should have probably applied a magnet to this. Ah, crap. Well, that is what I didn't want it to do. And it went down into the bolt area. So no harm, no foul. It's not going to hurt anything down there. But that also looked brass. So magnet wouldn't even have worked on that. And it's going to be one of those adventures. Yeah, they're all going to go down in there. Well, that just sucks. Okay. I'm not going to time lapse this. I'm going to just go ahead and get these loose and probably all drop down there in with the camshaft because they're not wanting to come out. But like I said, once I get the lid off, this should all come off together. I was able to get 3 out of the 6 out. And there's a washer on this that went down in there with them. So I'll rescue those in a couple of minutes when I pull that lid off. Now, I think I did give some misinformation in the last video. Unless you're going to pull the camshaft out, you really don't have to pull this gear off because this all comes off as one piece. So this should all come out together. Now this ought to be interesting. Yeah, it's still loose, so I'll go ahead and pull this one out. This is the one that was damaged before I even got started because the head was completely stripped out of it, so I had to hammer in a spline. And I'm going to have to track down some new bolts for this. I'm hoping that I can get these as a hardened bolt or inner hex like these are at the hardware store. Yeah, something about being ill-prepared and you know, having the battery go bad on my other camera. So anyway, where was I? Got those 3 done. I did get that other one out of there. Let me see if I can find it real quick, since I had to go get a camera. The heat must be getting to me. I can't even find the bolt that I pulled out with the other tool. So that's okay. We'll just continue on. I did find it, by the way. That's a good sign. You do have some tight fits in here, so it takes a little finagling to get some of this stuff out. It's not exactly easy to get fat fingers in. I'm not even sure I can get my fat fingers in there. Another reason this long tool, I hope, comes in handy. No, can't use that either. I could pull that out. Guess if I was ambitious I would do that, but I don't feel like being ambitious right now. Here, my third variation of an H6. That's the only one that's really difficult to get if you don't plan on pulling the power steering reservoir. But it did come out. Well, I got the last of the bolt off, and we're going to continue on here. You can already see that it has started to separate right there. And that's without me doing anything. That should be the pressure of the springs themselves. I don't know how much further I am going to go. It is still well over 100 degrees. Now elsewhere on this channel you're going to see that I also have my progress on the shop that I am restoring. A 1950s repair facility, which is going to be the future home of this channel and probably myself, since there's a house attached to it as well. But we're not there yet. And since this house, I converted my garage into family space so that the kids at the time could have more room, and my wife, who was alive at the time, would be happier. I gave up the shop space for people space, and I'm not going to undo that. So anyway, in the meantime, it's shade tree mechanic, literally, which is not something that I'm really accustomed to, but I can do it. But anyway, let's go ahead and pull this off. Maybe. This is probably in the way. All right, we're gonna hope that the camera doesn't die here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off for a minute and move some stuff around and see if we can get to this. And before you start jerking on things, you might want to check and make sure that you got all the bolts out, which I didn't. I missed one. So let me get that one out. Okay, last bolt is out. Let's see if I can easy. There we go. There go the lifters. So not so easy. Well, crap. All right, well, I'm going to have to chase those down. You remember that I said number 2 cylinder was dead? Notice how that valve is pushed down into the cylinder and all the rest are fine. There's my culprit right there. That valve is bent. So at least we know where we're looking. So obviously what I'm going to have to work on now, I'll go ahead and pull this water coolant pipe off on my next trip. We'll pull the headers off. Now that is kind of a nice little touch, is the fact that the Porsche does have factory headers on it. They are cast iron, but still they are a curved tube design. I don't see any cracks on it, so that's good news. Anyway, right there, that is my culprit. So to get this off, after I get the exhaust manifold off, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 bolts should come off. I already got the intake off. I'll pull this off. We'll get all that off, and then we will we'll see if it all comes off okay without anything else. I think it will, and then I need to clean this up, tank it, probably plane it, and go from there. Well, I appreciate you coming along for the ride. If you're enjoying any of this, learning anything, like, subscribe, follow me here on Facebook, and I will see you on the next adventure. So go get some grease. Bye now.